I did not forget today. Look, today is a very, very great day, and I'm excited, but let's finish the day as excited as we are right now by making sure that this bill passes off the floor of the Senate. And I want to tell you that we've been working extremely hard, as you have been, to answer questions from concerned lawmakers, from business groups and other folks, trying to convince them this is the right thing to do. And as you know, the concern you always hear, there's 2 or 3 of them, is, well, we've already got a law on the books to address this. Why do we need to do something else? Well, because we rank dead last. That's why. And then they say, well, you're just trying to create conditions under which you can sue us more often. I promise you, as a lawyer, as a plaintiff's trial lawyer, if I wanted to write a law that would now allow people to sue more often, this wouldn't be the way we would do it. You know, and there's every way in the world for the employers to protect themselves by simply acting responsibly when they're put on written notice that the employee believes that there's a violation in place. So we are working extremely hard to answer those criticisms, make sure people know this is a fair and balanced approach. But at the end of the day, it's got to be an effective approach. Otherwise, we're all wasting our time. Because the goal isn't to pass a bill. The goal is to make sure women are paid the same as men. Not just my daughters. Not just my daughters, and my wife, by the way, who happens to be here. So Donna, thank you for joining us, but for all women. It's incredibly important. And we got to make sure people understand that this truly is about valuing families. And for those lawmakers who talk about family values all the time, this gives them an opportunity to actually promote a policy that values families. And there is a difference. There is a difference. So it's incredibly important. I want to thank Undersecretary Lew, who is down with us today. He is from Washington. He is working for President Obama, and he's got some things that he would like to share with you, I'm sure. And so I'm going to ask him to come forward and do that. But thank you so much for being here and for your work. As you all know, this is not something that's just a couple of weeks in the making. Huh, Felicia, Linda? I mean, this has been years. I've been watching you all here. I think I voted for equal pay on the floor of the House my first year, so I know it goes back 8 years. I know this is 8 or 9 years long in my own personal experience, and that's just too long. It just doesn't make sense. So let's make today a great day. Let's make sure that this bill ends up on my desk so that I can sign it into law right here with you all watching. And I'm looking forward to doing that. And, you know, sometimes you have really tough decisions to make because the policy seems a little uncertain, and the politics seems a little uncertain. Well, the policy couldn't be better. And the politics couldn't be stronger because 90% of the people in Louisiana agree with what we're trying to do. So there is no reason to come up short. We will not come up short. We're going to make this happen and celebrate for all of the people of Louisiana. And by the way, not just for the women, but for the children that those women are supporting. That's what makes this critically important. And on occasion, there might be a man out there who's going to benefit from this bill too, because it's not written to protect women, it's written to protect employees. So you all know that. Undersecretary Lew, would you come and join us and share some of your thoughts?
Thank you. Thank you, Governor, for having me, and thanks to all of you for the important work that you do. I love the color red. But I will say that, you know what, no one goes around and says happy equal pay day, because today is the date on which women have earned enough money to make up for the pay gap that happened last year. And we all know that Louisiana has the widest pay gap of any of the 50 states, including the District of Columbia. So if we were actually marking the pay gap in Louisiana, it wouldn't be today, it would be even further down. And that's not acceptable. This is not just a moral issue, it's an economic issue as well. And so while I am thrilled to be here with all of you, I'm thrilled to be here with the governor, I hope we can get rid of Equal Pay Day, because this issue should have been resolved a long time ago. And I want to applaud the governor for his wonderful leadership on this issue. He said this bill has gone through the legislature here in Louisiana for many, many years. And while we are very, very hopeful and excited about the progress we may make today, think about all the women who have suffered during that period of time on what should have been an elementary issue. So on behalf of my boss, Secretary Tom Perez, on behalf of our collective bosses, the President, we are here to show our support for this issue. And we at the Department of Labor think all the time about how we can help ensure that America wins this global competition that we are in. And in this global competition of the 21st century, we need to field a full team. And we're not fielding a full team right now. There are far too many people that are left on the sidelines, people either who don't have economic opportunities or who aren't sharing in the broad-based prosperity that we're trying to create in that country. And that not only includes veterans, people with disabilities, young people, people from disadvantaged communities. It means the women who aren't participating fully because they aren't being paid fairly. And it's one of the reasons why we at the Department continue to look at ways to increase the labor force participation of women, to provide them good job training opportunities, to provide them with paid leave opportunities, to increase the minimum wage. And while we are trying to do all of that at the national level, I don't need to tell you about the partisan gridlock that is in Washington right now. And it is one of the reasons why Secretary Perez, the President, and I spend so much time traveling around the country so that we can lift up wonderful state initiatives like what is happening right here and to give our support to innovative governors like Governor Edwards. And this is not just the pay gap that somebody might feel in a given month or a given year. Imagine what that does when this pay gap is compounded over the course of a lifetime. It is not surprising that women have substantially less retirement income than men. Retirement income for women ages 65 and older is 44% less than for men in that same age demographic. And here's the really disturbing statistic. Women 75 years and older are almost twice as likely to live in poverty as men. In part, it's because of the lack of economic opportunities, and in part, it's because of the pay gap that they've experienced along the way. And so it is critical that we move forward on this issue. To me, this is such a common sense issue, and it is incredible that there's been such resistance. As the governor said, look, we're not here to file lawsuits against companies. We just want women to be paid fairly. It's a very, very basic principle. And I know the governor ran for this office on the pledge of Louisiana First. And there's nothing that I know the governor wants to be last in. And this is a very disturbing statistic. And so the fact that he has made this a priority speaks volumes to him. And I know that he said in his inaugural address that he wants to drive a current of change as mighty as the Mississippi. And today's action is an important first step in that journey. So I want to thank all the advocates here for your hard work on this issue. I will have a chance to meet with some of the legislators who are supporting this initiative and to lend our support. Today is a historic day, and it could not have happened without all of you. So thank you very much.